What a horrible night to have a curse. Even though I don't think it's night time. Well, it has to be nighttime somewhere, right? But the curse might be real. Who knows, really? Okay, let's see. Where do we go today? Outside the island? I think I like it. Feels a little bit like brain rot, but I guess it might be okay, perhaps. Ming, oh Ming. Yeah, extremely tired today. Imagine that. Me, tired, on a Saturday? More likely than you think. First thing, big stretch. It's gonna be good. So what do we have for today? Well, for today we have a bunch of news that may seem strange, but I think most of them just only seem strange if you don't pay attention. Some of them are truly weird, not gonna lie. So let's start with something new, shall we? I had too much stuff here. And in this case, it's gonna be necromancy, because why not? So, do you guys remember Blue Protocol? Have it got cancelled? Both in Japan and in the West, before releasing in the West. It's back. Blue Protocol, Star Resonance, coming west in 2025. It's this year. Publisher April Japan and developer Shanghai Bokura announced the Western release for Blue Protocol Star Resonance is coming after all. Originally only planned for a China release, Blue Protocol Star Resonance. Is this the same Blue Protocol? It's coming west later in 2025 for Windows PC, thanks to Steam and Epic, iOS and Android. Don't remember too much. Blue Protocol was originally developed by Bandai Namco and will launch for Japan in 2023. Its global release was cancelled just prior to launch alongside its Japanese branch getting shut down too. The failed anime MMORPG recently got revived by Shanghai Bokura under a license from Bandai Namco. I guess they needed a new surname or something like that for legal purposes, I suppose. That was originally only planned for release in China until now. Here's a rundown on the new release plus a trailer. I'm pretty sure the trailer's gonna be kind of the same as we've seen before. Dive into a breathtaking anime world filled with stunning visuals, fast-paced combat, and a vast open world teeming with inspiration and discovery. This title will be available to PC players in Steam and the Epic Games Store. Blue Protocol Star Resonance builds upon the franchise's signature anime aesthetic. Okay, signature? Come on now. It's not that well established yet, okay? It was pretty much there. Offering players a vibrant, action-packed MMORPG. Fast-paced, action-packed. Maybe it's not for me. I guess I could give it a try if it's not censored, which I hope it won't, because we don't have Amazon here. So that's a positive, at least. Blue Protocol Star Resonance will support cross-platform play between mobile and PC. Surely that will be great. Is this gonna be just Genshin Impact? I hope not. Allowing players to enjoy a seamless experience across devices with synchronized progression. Whether at home or on the go, adventurers can dive into the world anytime, anywhere. Maybe they will mention some stuff here in the features. Anime-style visuals, stunning graphics creating immersive anime-style world, while preserving Blue Protocol's high-quality visuals. I mean, I guess it's okay. Dynamic combat system, is this still stuff? Class system, you got me. I mean, talent build, skill sets, and equipment. Well, yeah, with hope. RPG has equipment. Enable personalized combat style customization. With iterative content updates, actively diversifying the approaches. Finally, good diversity. Well, I would need to see the actual class system and how it works. Because it might be just a really I have to say this. Really normal class system, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I do like that with the class system. That's on me. Not many games offer that. Sadly, I keep remembering Eating Eternal. That thing, it was a really old game. It was kind of jank. But the class system though, oh my god, that's so beautiful. I love it. But if I'm a tank, why would I need to level up every single class? Because every single class gives you additional stats. That's beautiful. That's the dream. Just grind everything. It's just like Final Fantasy V when you think about it. Just grind everything, it's gonna give you something. Do you know that I love grinding in video games? And good grinding, obviously. Open world, I would hope. Explore expansive landscapes filled with quests, dungeons, and epic raids. Raids? You should play alone. That would be ill-advised. Deep character customization. Spot character customization, enabling players to craft their own distinct personalities. I know what they're trying to say. At least I think I know. It's still really silly. Because they mention distinct personalities, and I can think, well, distinct personality just with... I have to say this. Character customization, like visually, that seems a little bit silly. That's me being just crass, okay? Multiplayer social experience, well, I would expect that from an MMO. It's massive multiplayer online. Trade, guilds, and community events enhance the multiplayer experience. Is this finally gonna be a good MMO? I wouldn't know. But I guess we can try it at some point, maybe, perhaps. I don't think it's gonna be horrible or anything. But you know, could be good. I'm just curious right now, and I don't know if they're gonna change anything from the OG release, like system-wise. Probably not, right? But once again, is this Takano Shikiara? Oh my god, she's in the game. Is this Doki Bird? Oh my god, she's in the game. Anime people, they look the same to me. Is that so wrong? It kinda is. I wanted to look at the system. And I feel about too action-packed. Once again, what is with every game becoming just generic hack and slash? I don't think it's necessarily generic in this case because I haven't seen anything. But they keep dipping their toes into the hack and slash genre. And I have to say, I'm not a big fan of that. So that could be okay. Would you have a page? Star Resonance. I mean, aside from Steam, I need to look at Group Protocol Wiki. So much of images. Wow, they can fly! That's pretty cool. Is this Ion? I think Ion was even the first game that lets you fly. It looks really anime. I'm not saying that's bad. Be whoever you wanna be. Oh man. Okay, let's see. System requirements. Minimum 16 GB RAM? What are you talking about? Graphics card is just kind of meh. Processor i7 8700. That's not too bad, I suppose. 16 GB RAM seems way too high. I don't think that makes any sense to me. Yes, they have a wiki here. It's probably bare bones. Okay. Oh, it's one of those games with incomprehensible classes. That's gotta be great. Blade Warden, King Strider, Twin Striker, Spell Weaver, that's probably the most normal one. Fall Breaker. Oh my god, so cool. Twin Striker here has an axe symbol for some reason, even though I guess it uses Guns? I have no idea. Oh no, those are axes, I guess. Fire element. Ah, sass. It's kind of fast. Limiting elements to classes, I don't know how I feel about that one. Yeah, might not be that in depth. I guess they might add more classes later, right? Blade Warding, Sword and Shield, Mill Tank, Full Breaker, Hammer, Melee DPS, King Strider, Bow, Spell Weaver, Mage. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. It feels a little bit bare bones. Do they have healers? Maybe not. 3D Conquer combo was my strongest deck, 100 points, and won 7 times out of 8. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, it had to be good. Didn't seem to be that bad of a combo. I guess you're still beholden to RNG. So that might backfire sometimes. Speaking of backfires, that doesn't make any sense. I know I mentioned this the other day, but let's do it here. IGN's top 25 JRPGs of all time. I don't know how to feel about this list. Once again, we have like Chrono Trigger, top 1, sure. Persona 5 Royal, top 2. Is Persona 5 in the best Persona? I don't think that's the case. Final Fantasy X, top 3. It's not even the best Final Fantasy, by far. Just like middle of the list. That's because there are a bunch of them that are really good, and a bunch of them that are just ass. Final Fantasy X, you cannot tell me this thing is better than 5, 6, 7, 8. 8's a little bit divisive. 9. Or even 3. Maybe better than 4. I do agree, that's better than anything that came after. It's not saying much. Metaphor Fantasy top 4. It's a really new game. Are we sure this game is that good? I don't think so. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I don't know too much about Xenoblade, it might be okay. Dragon Quest 11. I still need to play 8, but I don't know that 11, 3, and 8 are usually the ones that people enjoy the most. Earthbound, I guess that makes sense. Suikoden 2, I guess that could make sense. Pokemon Gold and Silver. Not the remix, Gold and Silver. I do like them, okay? I do like Gold and Silver a lot. They're not the best. They're not even the best. I said that even Platinum is better than this. The Legend of Heroes, Thrills in the Sky, I don't know too much about that one. I guess I talked about Strawberry 2, makes sense. Paper Mario here makes sense, probably. Xenogears, guess it might make sense. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Top 14. I don't know if this makes sense here. Granted 2, I have no idea. Kingdom Hearts 2. I guess it counts as a JRPG. And I do believe people like 2 the most. Tales of Vesperia. Top 17. I do appreciate having a Tales of game here. I do enjoy Vesperia. I don't think it's better than Symphonia. I don't think it's better than Fantasia. And I think it may be even worse than Destiny PS2. It's still pretty good, at least. Live Alive. Guess that's fine. Bravely Default 2, that's really fine. Star Ocean, the second story. If Star Ocean is so good, why is this the second one? What's this stream about? Saturday, Witcher news. Lost Odyssey, I guess that could be okay. Ni no Kuni, I guess that's fine. Golden Sun, when they mention Golden Sun, what do they mean? Is it just Golden Sun 1 or just Golden Sun in general? If it's 1 and 2, I do agree. Just 1, I had to say, just Golden Sun 1 is not that great. I'm afraid. Breath of Fire 3, Shin Megami Tensei 3, that might be okay too. And then there's some entries here on this list. Not not the greatest. I had to admit, not the greatest. And there's a bunch of criticism. Wow. Not even Final Fantasy VI, not even Final Fantasy VII, not even Final Fantasy IX. Doesn't make any sense. 7 is not that good. I guess people like 6 more, but 10 is not that good. It is just barely good. So, now you might be wondering, well, why is it time to learn moonrunes? Well, because maybe, and only maybe, you actually need Japanese for once. Over 700 series affected. Massive manga site manga tanks hit with one of its biggest DMCA takedown actions yet. I think it's more than 1,000 right now. And sure, if they were licensed products, there's no excuse, right? It's licensed, get fucked. But a lot of them are not licensed, and I don't think they're coming to the West anyway. So they're not really losing anything. Major manga escalation site Manga Tanks has been hit with the larger scale series of the MCA takedown notices from companies enforcing their copyrights, resulting in estimated 700 plus series removed in select languages. I'm not quite sure which series, but there's a huge list of companies, so a lot of them. These companies have also filed DMCA takedowns with Google to reduce visibility. This is available publicly in just last 2 days. Includes Cocoa, Naver, perhaps, Losing, Suasia. Yeah, Suasia makes sense. They love their litigations. Kodansha, Hobunsha, Webtoon, One Piece books, they're not peaceful at all. Tumix, Entity, Soulmare, Square Enix, Critical Manta, Alphapolis, Shinchosha, Toyostream, Sugargun, WW Wave Corporation, My Garden, and Bunkasha. There are probably even more than this. You can check out the list of titles removed in 6 languages instead of this via Reddit. Notable titles include My Dress Up Darling. Thankfully, this finished already, so I just read it, so it's fine. Oshinoko, the quintessential quintuplets. The Apothecary Diaries, both versions. Black Lagoon, which is not even new. Bleach was not that new, it's finished already. Blue Box, Dragon Ball, which ended decades ago. Golden Kamui, Heavenly Delusion, Soul Leveling. I know a lot of people like it, and it's still releasing, so that sucks. Tensura, and The Freedom Flower blooms with dignity. The above titles are all licensed and freely accessible in some languages, including English. Many have reported that unlicensed titles are also part of the takedowns. Yeah, if they're licensed, there's nothing you can do, it's illegal. What can you do? A manga text from Super Moderator responded to the confusion, calling it the first time a takedown has happened on this scale. This came days after MangaDex announced a policy change to clamp down on translation groups excessively profiteering from infringing content. When asked whether the large number of recent manga deletions was linked, the moderator replied, "It is unrelated. We have received a DMC request for those chapters, and that this is the first time a takedown happened on this scale. Before it was just singular manga on the direct request of the author, or never because they are scary." Because they're scary. That makes sense, I guess. The chapter listings, a V3 feature where you can see the chapter but can't access the images, will return ASAP with the unavailable V3 feature. Oh, that's strange. So for the users that use chapter read markers for tracking, please don't. Don't worry, your markers will return. Please don't. Why not? Isn't that why you have the marker? I don't understand. Those that want the list of what has been taken down will have to wait for said feature too. I guess we can only wait. This also comes this after Reaper Scans announced its shutdown after receiving a cease and desist from Kakao Entertainment. Reaper Scans amassed over 36 million visits over the last 3 months. Ah, that's a lot. Yeah, similar web data. The disruption to manga text promises to be even more extreme, pulling 68.8 million visits in April alone. It amassed more than 188 million over the last 3 months, because it was pretty much the only site to read manga, honestly. And I've seen some people on Twitter complaining, because that's people keep throwing the name willy-nilly. Well, no, if you literally search in Google, read manga, manga takes it first. So it's not that underground, sadly. Manga is a manga installation site where users can upload fan translations of Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and other Asian origin comics. I think it's not only Asian origin, but it's mostly Asian origin. Official translations are banned by the site's rules. It has garnered controversy due to the inherent copyright infringement of the site, as well as being open to third-party uploaders that paywall content and post early releases. That's also ass. I don't like that, but I guess that's the nature of the beast, and there's not too much you can do about it. Oh, fuck my back. So, what are you supposed to do? I've seen some people mentioning this may be an excuse, maybe, so they can just become pay to win, I suppose, just to pay the site. And it's not the first time this happens, right? This happened with Fuku, this happened with Crunchyroll. They were mostly, well, not mostly, they were just full-blown pirate sites. And then decided to become, like, clean, now you have to pay us. It has been a disaster, especially Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll just ass. Not gonna lie. It is just ass. So, yeah. Yeah, it's not good. And once again, it will be a huge problem if they actually released their products overseas. It's not happening. Some of these, I know they're licensed. Some of the others, I don't know. I don't think My True Darling was licensed in the West. Some of the others obviously are, like Bleach and Dragon Ball. So, yeah. You can get the pirated version, but also you cannot actually get them, so just get fucked. It's so ass. It's just so ass. But wait, there's more stuff. There's more stuff. I bet you fellas like AI. Oh, I do have some AI to sell you. Toei Animation to apply AI to various processes of animation production in the future. More details have emerged on Toei Animation's AI aspirations following its investment in preferred networks, described as possessing top-level AI technology competence in Japan. In Toei Animation's fiscal year 2025 financial report, under the financial year 2026 outlook section, the company says, "We will seek to co-develop new business opportunities and improve the efficiency and quality of our production, capitalizing on synergies between AI and animation production technologies." Toei Animation adds that it's eyeing a joint venture with PFN. You can check out the Toei Animation's list of example AI applications below. It was just a matter of time. AI technologies cross animation production technologies, applied to various processes of animation production, storyboarding, coloring, color specification, in between, and backgrounds. I guess it can be useful for some stuff, but if they don't work with this properly, oh, it's gonna look so ugly. That's the thing with AI, it looks extremely strange. So I wonder, I don't want to say too much just right now, but I do have to wonder if that's what's happening with games. Because there are some accusations of that happening with games. Sample future uses of AI to animation include AI generated storyboards and layouts. Storyboards? I don't think that makes sense even. Coloring and color correction. I guess girl correction could actually be a net positive. I'm trying correction. In between generation. Yeah, I've seen in between generation with upscaling and whatnot. I don't know, man. I don't know. Not that good. Background generation from photos. I've seen some people mentioning this. I guess that makes sense, but eh? I don't know. I need to see a better example of this. I guess it could be okay. What is not okay? Constant. The constant attacks here. With this evil AI, these bots, they're so annoying. This is insane. There we go. I had to click it twice, I don't know why. It's so annoying. That's not an okay use of AI. This was the announcement on April 30th that Toei Animation will underwrite and acquire shares in PFN. Other investors in PFN include Kodansha, Sekisui House, TBS Innovation Partners, Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Bank, and Mitsubishi UFJ Trust, and Banking Corporation. Ethan was noted as a leader. Many of the above investors have announced further recent inroads into the anime industry. This week, TBS announced the formation of a new company, CAP, aimed at IP creation and development. I guess the name makes sense. It will invest up to 40 billion yen, around 205 million USD, with both the first to be announced moves being in partnership with MBS to jointly develop anime IP. Mitsuhu is working with Questry and Royalty Bank on a fund for anime full investment. This is Toei Animation's first foray into AI-supported anime production. It worked with BFN in 2021 to create an experimental short film using BFN's Cinefy tool to turn photo backgrounds into anime backgrounds. I guess they were just testing the technology. The value image in the right on the backgrounds, shown again below, comes from that project. Toei Animation said in some cases, time spent on a background was reduced to 1/6 of its normal time. You can check out the detailed chronology of the project here and the short film below. Little Urban with a V for some reason. The animation has also provided learning materials to AI companies and among AI to support autocoloring. I guess that's cool. I don't know. I have to admit, this also begs the question, right? Because I'm not much necessarily about how this kind of AI works, and I only know some stuff about laws, but I don't know that generative AI is not protected by copyright. So, in the case of them generating backgrounds through AI using real photographs, could you just rip those images out and use them? Because I don't think they're actually protected by copyright, because that I do believe that would fall in the realm of generative AI. Only time will tell, but I guess that's interesting. At the end of the day, in theory, you could just produce the same results, right, with AI. Not too different from filters, I suppose. But again, I'm not quite sure how it works. The anime company for a name but notable anime studio OLM Digital's R&D department is undertaking an AI research project called Animins. Anime Insight. I have to admit, Animins is a really funny name. Which explores how AI can fit in the anime production workflow. You can read the detailed overview of the project here. OLM Digital revealed that over 10 major anime companies have agreed to test the findings from Animins project. My Animins! Proponents of AI introduction to the anime industry say it's necessary to meet global demand, now that the promising opportunity for Japanese anime slip by, and improve work conditions. Nevertheless, many anime creators are worried about job security and the reduction in standards, They argue that it fails to address poor conditions that might be better solved by better scheduling, revenue sharing, rights reallocation. Wow, rights reallocation, that's interesting. Tax rebates, and addressing skill gaps and declines. I do believe those words are actually fair. And sure, we can all agree that unimpression workers are extremely exploited. We've seen that. I also found, don't have the link sadly. I think the page refreshed before I could click on it. But I got, I think it was yesterday, a recommended article on my phone, which I don't check too often, I have to admit. It was talking about I think it was an engineer that used to work for Microsoft, I think? I think it was Microsoft, but do not quote me on that one. It said that AI ruined his job, and he's been trying to apply for 800 different job openings, positions, and whatnot, and he was not getting hired. Sure, maybe it was that guy was not really that skilled, and it was a liability, as we're seeing. Oh, but all these workers in, for example, in companies are these huge layoffs. Yeah, but then you look inside and they're just bad. You keep hiring people that are incompetent, and when usually you would need, let's say, just a single guy, a single engineer, now you need 4 or 5 different guys, and you have to pay 4 or 5 different guys for the work of a single guy, and usually this work is going to be lower quality. I don't know if that's the case. Once again, I couldn't click on it. I might be able to find it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end. We have a bunch of stuff to go through today anyway. So, I have to say, I don't understand the worrying, and this was the other side of the coin, right? Because sure, maybe the guy was incompetent, but maybe the guy was actually competent. And the bosses thought, well, we have AI, obviously we don't need this guy anymore. Without understanding that, yes, you still need actual engineers, actual people that understand how everything works. Because when you don't, something wrong is gonna happen, AI is gonna choke, and you don't know how to fix it. That's really scary. That's also the more weight on the how's it called again? There's a proper term for that, but you know, this phenomenon with people becoming more and more incompetent, and it will reach a point that they will not be able to maintain the systems that hold even society at large. Oh, how does this work? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? What if it breaks? Eh? That's a really scary prospect. And I guess AI could lead us faster in that way, which I don't think it's good. But we'll see. I do believe that AI has potential. But everything that has potential can always be used for evil. Or misused. What else is new? Do you know that the first use of dynamite was to mine rocks? I know. What a concept. But speaking of AI, we also have this. Level 5 CEO says 80 to 90% of games are already created by AI, but in the human's aesthetic eye to ensure quality. Ensure quality? Citation needed. I had to wonder, this is actually what I've been complaining for, God, I don't know, years right now. How games nowadays feel bad. They don't look good, they don't play good, even though in practical terms, there's nothing really wrong about the games. They just feel lifeless, even though it's just games. But it's like you're missing some sort of spark, right? Could this be the case? Maybe. Also, we have Massacre here, we have Brandeis from Get Robo. That's kind of cool. Also, Massacre with an S and a Z, stop it. That's something I quite dislike about mounting into comics. They need proofreading. It's not that difficult. If I can do it, being ESL, there's no excuse, guys, come on. Adding his voice to the ongoing debates regarding the use of AI in video game development, Level 5 CEO and President Akihiro Hino has asserted that despite the rise in such technologies, the key to game's quality still relies on a human creator having an aesthetic eye when it comes to machine-generated content. And I don't think he's wrong when he says this, but I don't think the machine-generated content is going to have a good enough aesthetic. Now that's what I'm saying, and I could be wrong. Maybe I've actually enjoyed something that was AI. That makes me a little bit scared. Right, maybe you have seen those posts on social media. Oh, I'm seeing less and less AI-generated images. Hold up. Oh no. That's a problem. That's a problem. I don't think they're getting me quite yet. But it will come that time, I bet. That's always scary, man. Hino, who studio oversees Shinra franchises Yokai Watch, Insane 11, Ni no Kuni again, and Megaton Musashi. It's probably Musashi with just an S, right? I know Musashi, I read his works. Miyamoto Musashi, that is. Waiting on this topic while giving the welcoming speech to recent release of the Top Game Creators Academy, a joint initiative sponsored by Japan's Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association and the government's Agency for Cultural Affairs, aimed at helping the development of young video game creators. The phrasing here is just a little bit strange. The development of young video game creators. Are they making video game creators themselves? Is this AI creating more AI? I think it's just silly wording. With excellent ideas and technical skills, who can create original game IP and content that will be recognized worldwide. This is machine translated and it shows. Cannot blame them. It's a little bit jarring. It says Musashi here, just with an S. He recaps the event provided by Japanese video game news outlet Famitsu. Hino concludes the introduction ceremony with a short speech on the topic of AI development, which he opened by telling the incoming class, "Through this program, I have high expectations for the birth of creators who will go on to become global leaders." Oh, I hate that phrasing. Global leaders? I don't think this guy's a globalist, but God, it feels so wrong. I myself am still active as a creator, and recently I have been thinking that AI is encroaching on the world of creation. I do actually like this wording. Encroaching makes sense. Providing a surprising revelation, Hino asserted, in current programming, 80 to 90% of the code is written by AI, which is then modified by human programmers to create the final form, which means that at present, 80 to 90% of games are already created by AI. This is actually a little bit, maybe not scary, but I don't know if there's a word for that, right? A strange mix between slight sadness, scare, and disappointment. I guess I'm just underwhelmed, perhaps. Maybe this is also the reason why a lot of games nowadays feel samey. And I know this is extremely rich coming from someone that enjoys turn-based RPGs, but even turn-based RPGs back in the day felt really distinct. Some of them did. Some others were like, well, this is my first time making a game, so let's see what happens, and just it feels normal, right? Like, well, this is a turn-based RPG, alright. But nowadays, you can draw parallels between too many games that shouldn't be similar, but they are, and I don't think they should. How many times have I mentioned this? The two genres nowadays. Is it generic hack and slash? Or is it open world love? What about both? It's also happening. And I do believe that AI tends to... what's the word for this? Really difficult to explain, I think. I might be mixing some words here to properly explain myself. I think that happens a lot personally. I'm trying, okay? But I think AI has a tendency to average things out, right? Like you have a graphic, things go up, things go down, and AI wants to make it just a plateau. And you can see that with image generation. Maybe you have encountered, I saw those on Twitter, it was weeks ago. Those people trying to use AI to, well, show me the next 5 seconds of this image, and they created a video with that. And they had different images, and everything became either yellow or black background. The clothing tends to go to black, it doesn't matter the color, and the characters tend to become, doesn't matter if they're male or female or their race, they tend to become old women, either black or Latinas. That's what I'm trying to say. How you seeing the Ghibli generation of images? At first it was pretty cool. How you seeing nowadays? It has a yellow filter, or it looks like it has a yellow filter. It looks really yellow and really black. We are not bears, I don't think so. And I see that happening with games, not aesthetics-wise necessarily, but mechanics-wise. Okay, I'm playing, I don't know, the new Dragon Age, Final Fantasy Link, and which one was the other one? I don't remember. The other one I used for comparison. Oh, I think it was like Final Fantasy 16. Yep. They just feel like generic hack and slash. Why? In the case of Final Fantasy, I think it's fine because it's kind of a new game. I actually enjoy more the gacha, or enjoy it, I suppose. Turn-based RPG. But Dragon Age wasn't the hack and slash, and Final Fantasy was not the hack and slash. Doesn't make any sense. I'd rather think some. I'm picking. Sorry. I'd rather some of them become just Souls-like, even though that's also kind of generic nowadays. Let's keep reading. AI is not limited to programming, but also it's also making inroads into the fields of art, music, and planning. He explained, as it's already become a common practice in the creative world to borrow the power of AI to improve work efficiency. I don't mind this if we're talking about indies and whatnot, right? If you haven't seen, what was the name again? Yasuke Simulator, it's just a massive shitpost, right? It's mostly just AI. But it being a shitpost, using AI makes sense, because it's just low effort shitposting. And I do enjoy actual fun shitposting. And some of the music actually is quite good, even though it's AI. It's jarring still, because it's still AI. But going that way with actual companies feels extremely wrong, because you're going to see a dip in quality. Despite what they say, you're gonna see a dip in quality. AI could never match Yui Horii or Nobuo Uematsu. Okay, I'm sorry. It will never happen. However, rather than having these new talents take this information as a doom and gloom scenario, he proceeded to know that such technology wasn't a full replacement for human talent, declaring, in such a situation, I believe that what is required of creators is an aesthetic eye. In other words, they must be able to distinguish between what is good and what is bad. In good sentiment, it's never going to match the back and forth of the creatives of back in the day. Because people nowadays are not that good as creatives, sadly. He emphasized, in other words, whether created by AI or by humans, it is necessary to have an eye for selecting the best ones from a director's point of view and incorporating them into the work. Turning his attention to the academy itself, the CEO then declared, the TGCA is the perfect place to hone the aesthetic eye. Once again, I do believe aesthetic eye, good idea. We'll see if that's enough, dare I say. One cannot become a top creator by simply performing tasks, he warned. The creators who will be active in the future will need to be able to use tools such as AI as their own hands and feet, and to finish their work with an aesthetic eye for improvement. this sentiment is not wrong, but I don't think the technology is still there. Right? Let's say you have... I use the example of music, even though I don't really know too much about music. I do know what I like, but I don't know enough, or really anything, about music production, right? But I mentioned Yuji Horii and Nobuo Uematsu, right? We also have Stone Narita, I suppose. I think he's really good. If you know Chrono Fantasy's OST, that thing is just insane. He's really cool. He's also... He was at least, I don't know if he still does. He was a huge fan of Chrono Fantasy, I think that works, right? And ideally... Oh my god, I keep picking the mic, I'm sorry. Ideally, these guys would use AI to streamline the process of what they have on their minds becoming an actual song. I don't think you can do the translation yet, because I don't think the technology is there yet, at least, right? So, maybe for the future, really good. Right now, might be a pipe dream. Bringing his address to a close, Hino, Ultimate Champion, TTCA, is not just a place to learn game development techniques, but also a place to hone such a sense of style. So I hope that young creators will make the most of this program and create works that can compete with the world. Not only will many have responded to the advent of AI-generated content with outrage, and it makes sense, the complaints probably concerning how such technologies are being well adopted as a substitute for genuine creativity. He is one of the few who have argued in favor of treating it as yet another tool in artist's toolkit. I understand once again what he's trying to say, but even though you see really high quality AI images, and you see there's nothing wrong with this image really, so this could be real. It may be just me. Maybe it's just like a sixth sense or something like that. You understand in spoken way that it's AI because the image itself feels wrong. That's my main complaint with AI. I don't think it's about technology, but you see something created with AI, it just feels wrong. In fact, Level 5 has already taken to adopting the technology from their own prominent use of AI as part of a 2023 government-sponsored study into IP rights. And not too much about Level 5 or their games to engage into dropping quality, if any. So it's gonna bring a little bit of a question for me, at least right now. According to the information shared by the studio, Level 5 has been using the specific Stable Diffusion image generation model. They have made preliminary drafts of stellar screens. Well, I mean, if it's drafting, who cares really, right? Promotional images and 3D models, as well as providing usual visual touch-ups, like line art, sharpening, and the addition of background elements, like crowds or buildings. It's not a big deal, I suppose. Do you remember the crowds back in the day? Whoa! A head, 2 arms, and 2 frames of motion. So I guess it could be worse than that. While other AI programs have been used for character proposals, temporary voice acting, they have actual code for both their games and websites. The websites? I guess that actually makes more sense. But even back then, Level 5 emphasized that they not only were strictly using AI. I'm having a stroke here. Please guys, proofread. Such menial tasks as creating basic data, making proposals, and improving quality. But they were also making sure that a human touch was used in both finalizing and subsequently approving the machine content. You can also make the argument of people relying too much on this and losing their, I guess they mentioned it, the human touch, but the creative eye. Because if you keep seeing slop, maybe you end up with this strange idea well, everything feels like a slob. Well, no. You're gonna get perhaps the best slob. It is still a slob. Still saying much. I guess I'm a little bit of a doomer sometimes. You can't blame me. And admittedly, his insistence on AI being used merely as a tool holds a lot of weight. As without any human reviews or edits, the infamous and telltale signs of AI art, like nonsensical details or blurred elements, are really apparent, thus communicating a lack of care from a given developer. There's more than that. There's more than that. If you've seen AI images, you know what I'm talking about. I guess some people will not be able to tell the difference. I know I mentioned this before. Once again, I'm reminded a lot of people are really stupid. Oh my god, that woman is so hot. Oh my goodness. Such a babe. Then you look at the image, and you have to wonder, why does she have tits on her knees? Technology is amazing. I don't think that's a real image, guys. That's all the eye, I know, but people fell for that. People will fall for everything. For a prominent example of the potential pitfall facing a game developer who chooses to rely solely on AI-generated text and images, look no further the recent debacle surrounding Shin Megami Tensei Serious Artist, Kazuma Kaniko's new deck builder, Tsukuyomi, the Divine Hunter. I don't know anything about that game. But despite using an AI-generated train solely on his own work, was met with extreme apprehension from his own fans. It's not the first time it happened. I do remember it was last summer, I think. It was a Japanese artist that got a lot of flack because I think it was a he, might have been a she. I can say he used AI to generate images, but those images were only going to be used for himself, and that AI was trained with his own drawings. And you might disagree with people doing that. Sure, that's fair, that's cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, okay? I can disagree with that AI, but at the same time, private use, and the guy actually made the datasets himself, so not a big deal. People were trying to boycott the guy when he was selling his actual drawings in a convention. Overcorrection, that's also really bad. We're talking about Yaski Simulator here, so I guess the next one only makes sense. Yaski Simulator is bad. I bet Assassin's Creed is really good, right? Very sad news. What do you mean sad? It was a huge success. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a massive flop. I cannot believe this. Get everything here with it. Cool. From Reddit, okay? They sourced from Inline Analytics, so that might be actually correct. Assassin's Creed Shadows sales are out, and it's way worse than you think. 2 months ago, Ubisoft launched another quadruple A game, until the CEO himself called make or break for the company. Well, not because it was gonna be good, because they needed a huge success to save the company. It didn't happen. Within days, Ubisoft probably announced 3 million players, or 3 billion, if you count Ubisoft Plus glorified DRM posing as a game launcher. Sarcasm. Ubisoft celebrated, declaring the God's greatest gift to mankind has shattered all gaming records. Yet no one knew the actual sales numbers. Always a red flag. That usually means they might be lying. Also, they said players. Net cap is sold, so whistle wording once again. Whoa! More like 300 trillion. They're even playing the game in Uranus. Now, 2 months later, we finally have the numbers, and they're brutal. Of course they are, because when the game released, the stock crashed, which usually shouldn't happen. It should go up, not down. PS5, 1.7 million copies sold since launch, 2 months. And it's actually really good. 1.7 million on a system that doesn't exist? That's actually pretty good, what can you say? PC, 367,000 copies sold on Steam in the first 2 weeks, after which sales plummeted so hard it became difficult for game analytics to gather accurate data. Some people will tell you, oh, but what about Ubisoft's store? Sure, they have a store on PC. Who the fuck uses it over Steam? It's like saying, oh, but Kingdom Hearts released in 2022 on PC. That was an Epic. It doesn't count, really. Xbox, no exact numbers, but it's the worst performing among the 3 platforms. So let's be generous and assume it matches PC's 367,000 copies sold. That brings the total to 2.4 million copies sold across all platforms. To put that into perspective, Ghost of Tsushima sold many copies in just 3 days. It was a PlayStation exclusive. Excuse me. Even Assassin's Creed 1, a game from 18 years ago, old enough to drink, sold 2.5 million copies in its first month. Ubisoft will post their earnings today in the next few hours. What do you think they're gonna tell their investors to hide their massive flop of a game? Well, it doesn't matter because they have a new company with more Tencent control, which I suppose was the objective all along. So, yeah, and they needed massive revenue from this because their last games, three last games, aside from Assassin's Creed Shadows, were massive flops. Make no mistake about it. The Star Wars game, not good. I look at the videos. Whew. What a piece of trash, man. Not good. And probably the worst of all, Skull and Bones. The first quadruple A from Ubisoft. They had to invest at the bare minimum 200 million on that. And was a huge success. It was making Concord numbers, so you know as well. They were bleeding money for years. They need a huge game in 2024. It was supposed to be either Star Wars or Assassin's Creed. It was not Star Wars. It was not Assassin's Creed when it finally released in 2025. They're fucked. How do we know that? Oh, no, look at this. Look at this, look at the dip. Oh man. 9.66 euros. This might not be the lowest, but it's really close. I think it was actually lower back in October last year, but not by much. So, traditional Ubisoft, it's pretty much that. What can you say? So we can take a look here at Insider Gaming. Ubisoft will reduce costs of 110 million in 2 years. It's not enough. It's not enough. Their debt's massive. Ubisoft has revealed its new cost reduction plan, which aims to reduce over 110 million that's USD over the next 2 years. Ubisoft has just released its full year 2024 to 2025 earning figures. A new cost reduction program has been spotted in the report. Out of necessity. The company has already achieved the initial plan and is slightly above the 200 million target at 200 million euros, around 222 USD. However, they have added an additional fixed cost reduction target of 100 million euros, or 110 USD million. Million USD. I didn't want to say million, but then I said it. So it didn't make any sense. It has to be achieved in the next 2 years. I don't think this is counting their debt, because I'm pretty sure it's way more than 200 million euros right now. Maybe not. Maybe they were saved by Tencent after all. It's saved a little bit, I'm trying to say. Ubisoft has shut down several studios and let off staff over time to achieve cost efficiency. Layoffs to achieve cost efficiency. Maybe they're bloated, who knows? Been saying this for years. And with the latest cost reduction program, it seems that more shutdowns and layoffs could occur. Moreover, the earning results stated Assassin's Creed Shadows prompted strong praise from players and delivered performance clearly ahead of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Their net bookings were 1.5 billion euros, which was slightly below the objective. Yeah, that might be overblown. I don't know. I don't think they will lie, right? Companies lying? No way. Ubisoft added that the Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six franchises' unique active players were around 30 million for the fourth consecutive year. Far Cry brought in 20 million players, and other brands also had more than 100 million unique active players. Unique. Active. I don't know. We need to see what they consider unique and active here. Fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Interested readers can check out the full report here. In other news, Ubisoft has delayed its significant IPs to improve game quality. Also, the company is looking into secret data collection claims. I think it's more than claims at this point. What are your thoughts on Ubisoft's cost reduction program? Well, they're going to eat shit and die. Nice! Deception. Yeah, the company will just wrongly transfer to Tencent. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's fair to assume that Ubisoft is not getting better. Well, for themselves at least. Maybe for us. And I guess this is not the only company that's struggling recently. Because let's look at this. Square Enix reveals its plan to reboot the company over the next 3 years. They're running out of games. It's now time to reboot the whole company. Which is pure insanity, if you ask me. Square Enix wants to focus on delivering high-quality games more consistently. You know what? I hope this is the case. Oh my god, I keep picking the mic. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening today. I'm getting too passionate now. But yeah, I do hope this actually happens. I don't know if that's going to be the case. We might have different definitions of high-quality games. And maybe consistency too. Who knows? Square Enix plans to emphasize quality over quantity for its games business. It has come up with a new strategy to help it realize these goals. The company has now revealed more details on its Square Enix reboots and awakenings. It's a time for Final Fantasy Awakening. It worked for Fire Emblem. Interim plan that will unfold over the next 3 years. According to Square Enix, it plans to adopt a multi-platform approach for its games into major titles being released on a consistent basis, starting March 2027. I guess they need some time to plan and actually make the games. All of its game titles will be placed under the management of the same studio, and it will allow all of its in-house knowledge to be consolidated, accumulated, and shared. Square Enix added, this new approach has also resulted in several in-development games being cancelled. Square Enix decided to focus its resources on funding other projects instead. Here we have an image. Enhance productivity by optimizing the development footprint in the digital entertainment segment. And they have stuff here. I was about to say, I thought some of this released already. Because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be pixel remasters, maybe not. Okay, I think they mean the Nintendo Switch releases, but I have no idea. Pretty sure these are the pixel remasters anyway. This is probably the default new thing. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. New release dates. Well, new releases to be announced. Final Fantasy XIV mobile title for China. What? And to be released for Nintendo Switch 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Why not high grade? And plans to release major titles. Multiple titles on multiple platforms. And plans to release major titles on a consistent basis. Who knows, really? Under the new management structure, we reviewed all projects at our domestic studios, including HDG and SD titles. I don't know what it means, sadly. and decided to discontinue development of some titles and invest additional funds in titles that require refinement, thereby steadily implementing a strategy of selecting and concentrating development resources. Square Enix explained in an update for its investors, "We will continue to control the scale of development investment in a disciplined manner." What about the censorship though? The new multi-platform approach is already active, and Square Enix recently announced the entire Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy will be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 console. Trilogy, but I don't think they have the final game out, so I don't know if that machine is gonna be good enough. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate will be a launch game for the console alongside Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. HD Remaster, they have such long names. This is not a light novel. The release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hasn't been revealed yet. Final Fantasy XIV also arrived on Xbox consoles last year. Fucking Xbox? Sure, why not? Square Enix is looking to bring more games to the Microsoft platform in the future. Oh, look at this! Did you wanna get the funny cards? No, thank you. No, thank you, I think I'm fine. That's just silly. And I can only echo right here the wise words. I don't know if they're actually wise, but the words from, I think it was Sony's CEO? God, this was months ago. That, well, you need to go and buy the remakes and remasters because they found our new IPs. Don't you want new IPs? Well, I want new IPs as long as they're good. I think that much makes sense. Also, aren't you tired of remakes and remasters? I truly am. Some of these that don't really make a lot of sense. Let's be real. Sure. Throne Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. Sure. The last release that was not mobile. Hold up. It was actually Switch. It was actually on the Switch. Huh. The last one I said from that was the Game Boy Color, so yeah. Pretty sure you have a pretty decent version on the Switch already. Not just a port. Huh. I don't know. It's just like with movies. It's just like with even anime nowadays. Look, remasters, remakes. Don't you like Rurouni Kenshin? Well, yeah. But I think the old one was good enough. You can always go back. That's fine. And then it creates some extreme inconsistencies, in my opinion. For example, Final Fantasy IV. Now you have the versions, 2D and 3D. Why? They may have some different content. I'm pretty sure in the 2D version, Cecil's Darkness Command is still, you take damage and deal AoE, Darkness Element damage. But in 3D, it's just a buff. Why? I just didn't get it. Well, now you have to buy every single version for the full experience. I don't think I'm gonna buy any of them. And maybe they shouldn't be spending so much money in new IPs if they're not profitable. Maybe the new IPs are just ass. What can you say? Speaking of more companies that are having strange money issues, perhaps, Bandai Namco alters exit pay to encourage acting in the interest of shareholders. Shareholders? What year is this? 1999? Follows 995% profit increase from gaming. I don't want to like Bandai Namco, but their practices are so trash. Customer-wise, at least. Bandai Namco is changing the way it pays executives, which could put more pressure on them to make profit and appease shareholders. You know what? I think this can be good. Finally, good news. With the new system, as shared by the company via Automaton, executives' pay will consist of a 30% fixed salary and 70% platform performance-based remuneration. Do you mean remuneration? Previously, this ratio was set at 40-60. In addition, half of executive officers' total earnings will be stock-based instead of cash-based. Previously, this was 40%. The goal is to encourage executives to act in the interest of company shareholders. Finally, acting in the interest of the company shareholders makes sense, because you're just talking about money. You might disagree with their actions because, well, it's just all for the money. Sure, makes more sense than fucking stakeholders. Because a stakeholder could be literally anybody. My goodness. What's wrong with my throat today? Might be a little bit dry. Further, the fixed salary for XX will be capped at around $4.14 million. Pounds, who cares? Each year, a portion of which will be added to the shareholding plan to purchase company stock. Bonuses will be based on what Bandai Namco meets targets and profits, earnings per share, and sustainability. If these aren't met, executives may not receive a bonus. That makes sense. That only makes sense. And the quality might drop, but the quality is already dropping, so might not drop as much. The change suggests execs will need to be shareholders, and could be focused on making profit over creativity. Do not give me this bullshit. Profit over creativity. Look, I'd rather them AP's shareholders than stakeholders. But the community. But the diversity, who the fuck cares? It's a game. Make good game. Make good money. That's it. Imagine that. And if it actually stifles creativity, they're gonna make worse games. If they make worse games, I can only hope people don't buy them. And yes, I can only hope. On the flip side, the company recently abolished employee bonuses in favor of raising average salaries, meaning entry-level positions now pay more. It's good for the entry-level positions, but I don't know. That's gonna be good for all the workers. Depends on the numbers. The news follows Bandai Namco's most recent earnings report from last week, where the company saw a 995% increase in profit from its game business. That's a huge increase. Not gonna lie, they might be doing something right. That's thanks to strong sales last year of From Software's Elden Ring and a companion DLC, Shadow of the Earth 3, the company published, as well as Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero selling 5.4 million copies. I know that not a lot of people are going to count those, but they are also bringing more Tales of games to the West. Finally, it only took your people a quarter of a century to understand. But yeah, they released Tales of Graces on PC, which is pretty good. I don't think it sold a lot or anything, but they're selling more shit because they're bringing in more shit. That's a thumbs up for me. From me. From Software. Indeed, From Software owner Kadokawa is expecting a 60% decline in profits this year due to Elden Ring's success last year. Excuse me. And that's despite its re-release on Switch 2, as well as this month's online spin-off, Elden Ring Night Ring. Is it releasing this month? I haven't seen anything about this game, really. I don't think people are hyped. Might be wrong. Bandai Namco's big fighting series, Tekken, is struggling, however, with a series of emergency patches being released for Tekken 8 to trace balance changes. The next update will arrive tomorrow, May 13th. That was a couple of days ago. And this is in Quench. So there's that. So I guess Bandai Namco is actually looking at their profit and how they're being successful, and they decided, you know what? We want to be more successful. It only makes sense. Finally, some good fucking food. I'm still waiting for them to bring all Tales of games to the West. I don't think it's going to happen. But at least right now we have people actually translating a bunch of them, so... Anyway, I will get my fix, okay? There's also so much strange stuff happening with Stormblade, I suppose. Stormblade pre release blocked on Steam in over 120 countries, surprising its developer. I'm going to assume this has to do with the PlayStation Network account. From the last I've seen. I don't know if that's correct, but seems likely. Blade will release on PC in June 11th, but its availability on Steam has been blocked in over 120 countries, surprising even the game's developer. They didn't know. Sad. Shift Up shared news of the release on social media, but a number of fans responded with Steam screenshots showing the game is unavailable in their region. Shift Up responded to confirm the PC version does not require a PSN account and appears surprised in the replies at the game's unavailability. Which, sure, but Sony are just slimy. They're extremely slimy at Sony. So maybe they added some sort of unspoken requirement. Like, okay, you don't need the account, but you need to be in country where you can have an account. That's just tiresome, I suppose. Checking SteamDB, it appears Blade has been restricted in over 120 countries. Most of these are where Sony's PSN isn't available. That's what I'm saying. Helldivers 2 was review bombed last year following a PSN requirement, which led to the game being pulled from sailing 177 countries. Isn't that most countries? That's wild. The company quickly U-turned its decision, following the backlash. It would appear Stellar Blade is experiencing a similar issue. Although Shift Up has stated a PSN account is not required. However, a free bonus custom would be offered where a PSN account is linked to Steam. I hate when they do that. Eurogamer has contacted Sony for clarification. Yeah, they're not going to respond, they never do. The Steam listing stated vtuber has been incorporated. Bad move, in my opinion. Much to the annoyance of some fans. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I was just saying, the Star Wars game, not Outlaws, the old one. Fallen Jedi, I think that was the name. Maybe that is correct. When they finally took out the Nuvo, the performance increased by 50%. It's not nothing. I was just saying Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh my god. Don't get me started with that piece of shit. Insane. Insane. So bad, man. It's so bad. If people are going to buy it, they will buy it, okay? As Kevin said, it's just a matter of service. This was Blade's PC release date, leaked earlier in the week, but has now been confirmed on the PlayStation blog. What's more, Sony has confirmed its additional content will also be available on PS5 as a free update. Wow, free! That's a great price. Below are the PC specs for Stellar Blade. Pretty much the same as Blue Protocol, funny enough. Funny how that works. I think maybe Blue Protocol mentioned Windows 11, which would be a extreme no-no from me. Shift Up, stating in financial reports from February, it expects the PC version to exceed console sales. It should. And I do believe some people will buy both versions anyway. In the AAA game market, PC devices have a higher market share than consoles, so we expect the performance of the PC version to exceed that of the console version. It will make sense. The company said, "We are particularly observing trends such as the significant expansion of the single-player action game market in the Asian gaming industry." Yep, that checks out. That checks out. Let me take another sip. I'm so thirsty today. It's quite hot. That doesn't help. But not everything is just fine and dandy with video games, you know? Not everything is fine and dandy. Because you have still the obvious cheaters, maybe not huge companies like this. I mean, Shift Tab is not huge or anything, and say it's big company. We're talking about Bandai Namco, we're talking about Square Enix, we're talking about Ubisoft. But now, it's time to talk about small guys. Oh, gaming is healing. Are we sure? This account was making the rounds past couple of days. Sadly, it feels like nobody actually archived the tweets. What's wrong with you people? I was about to take a shower when he saw this, and when he finished it was already logged, so... Fuck. Games transforms in annual volunteer-led festivals celebrating games and radical politics. Sure, that's what people crave. Politics with their games. Thankfully, we have some stuff here still that we can take a look at. So let me bring this up. Don't think it's a full video anyway. That's the important part. Let me stop my music here. So we had to go and take a look at Rev's video because it's the only thing I found with the actual clip. It's just a couple of minutes. We can take a look at this. Hold up. Okay, I think this cropping should be correct. It is perfect cropping. Perfect cropping, baby.
So in a nutshell, recently there's been a campaign by people in the video game industry to out the fash from the scene. And as you can see, it's going really well. All the proponents of it have gone private, and their posts linking the related video have been deleted. Now, Rev, what are you talking about? Well, here's a re-upload of what they're talking about. And honestly, this might have been a main channel video, but I'm just tired.
Problem here, I do understand. That's just half of the clip. I've seen the full clip. Trust me, there's not a whole lot of a difference here.
Like, these people are ridiculous. So let's see what these soy boys have to say about the problematic gamers who are literally ruining the industry.
We are losing ground here, and something needs to be done.
Losing ground? Good.
That's why we're bringing back the Games Transformed Festival this summer for the third time with a clear question to answer. How do we kick the fash out of gaming?
Kick the fash out of gaming. And once again, I need to ask, what the fuck are you talking about? You cannot expect to call everybody you don't like a fascist. And it makes sense, okay? No, that's not how it works. It sadly has worked for far too long. We're not doing this shit anymore.
This is going to be a 2-day event held at Pelican.
By the way, the fash is literally anyone who's right of Karl Marx.
Karl Marx, you could say Stalin, or you could say Mao, okay? I think everything here works. Once again, they call Asmongold a far-right guy, okay? Doesn't make any fucking sense.
In London on the 11th and 12th of July, it's going to bring together game developers.
London. Just pick a struggle.
And players and political organizers and whoever else we can think to invite to puzzle over and answer this question. How can the left do something to stop and eventually push back this creep of extremism that's happening in our backyard?
How can the left push back against this extremism? My goodness. My goodness. If they predicted even more, they would be movie theaters. It is this bad. What are you talking about? What kind of extremism? Just leave me the fuck alone and make good game? I guess that's too extremist nowadays. Also, thank you for finally, well, finally, I don't think it's even new, but I do appreciate when they actually make the clear distinction that is extremely political.
There'll be talks and panels, but also games to play and role-playing work
I love.
Wait a second.
happening in our backyard. There'll be talks and panels, but also games to
I'm pretty sure he was going back because of the fucking mask. Sure, this video might be old. Masking in 2025? I keep saying 2014 never ended, but 2020 never ended either.
play
Yep.
and role-playing workshops
He's not saying anything. It's clear Rev is extremely tired here.
designed to tease out lessons that we can then try and apply to this incredible hobby of ours. Tickets are now
Incredible
available
hobby.
online, and if you're watching this video on YouTube, you should find
I guess they actually had the video on YouTube. I guess I missed that. Well, we're watching on YouTube. I think it works.
the link to that in the description below. The Fash are back, and now they know how to
The Fash are back. Are we sure? Every year that goes by, I keep seeing less and less actual right-wingers. But then again, are the Nazis actually right-wing? They're socialists for a reason.
use Discord and stream on Twitch, and we should probably start thinking about ways to deal with that. I'm
No one cares, bro.
You love to see it. No one cares. And obviously, here we have probably some of the kind of clowns are on this side, right? I say side, I should say convention, I suppose. I'll bring up the music. Let's see. There we go. This is one of the board games that is going to be at the event. Billionaires and guillotines. Surely this is normal. In Billionaires and Guillotines, players take on the role of 2 to 5 rebel plutocrats vying to grab the wealth of the world before their actions trigger a revolution where they all lose. A lot more than their assets. Hellpath make it wicked, easy to learn board game for the coming class war. Coming class war, by the way, oh my god. Will you play the aristocrat or the war profiteer? You take overlord or the property speculator. In case, you'll try and build a private space program, marry and divorce a celebrity spouse, and start your own scam charity in this rockers game for aspiring billionaires and their enemies. Fascist rule, luxury tax, games transformed truly endorses billionaires and guillotines. The game from this guy, obviously the Iron Blues guy. We're forced to introduce a house rule to legalize the copious amounts of cheating at our table, and Max's promise they will make it into the game at release. You can tell me, these people actually care about video games, or games in general, because it doesn't make any sense. Because this is just obvious political propaganda. That's it. That's it to it. It's just political propaganda. I'm sorry to tell you this. This is propaganda. And it really shows when you see the kind of people that talk about, oh, what is wrong with video games? And they say shit that's extremely removed from what I say. Not because I think I'm right, even though I'm always 100% correct. Why would I be wrong? But because we are not even talking about the same topics, that's the problem. So obviously it is just, well, I'm not even coming up with anything strange here. Voluntarily at festival celebrating games and radical politics, it's here. What do you want from me? It's here. There's nothing I can say that they are not saying. But there was also this clip that I was making the rounds. It doesn't have to do with games transformed, but it is the same sentiment because it's extremely stupid. I had the clip here from Cabrutus. I guess I should have stopped the music too, so we can listen properly to this. Here we have.
What is a video game trope that you want to get rid of?
Heterosexuality.
How the fuck is that in video game trope? It's not. Also, you have here the two genders, right? Oh, heterosexuality is far too common in video games. But then the other guys will tell you, well, actually, no fictional character has been confirmed as heterosexual, so there can be anything. What a laugh.
More diversity would be great, but also I just want to see men kissing more.
More diversity. Thought we were talking about games.
Hell yeah.
I know what I want.
I don't know if that's something I'd leave behind.
She's not a great ally here. Right? I don't know if that's something I leave behind. I keep picking the mic. I'm so sorry. I'm too passionate today.
But I agree with more diversity
I do agree with more diversity in games. Definitely.
in games. Definitely. You know, I like seeing people like me and people like the people I care about represented and stuff.
In stuff. Representation. And sure, looks can be deceiving. Sure. Are you gonna tell me this woman plays games? Come on now. Do not lie to me. Just do not lie to me. It makes no sense. It's all about representation. It's all about, oh, but I want to see myself in this. Why? It's a video game. I want to see cooler stuff. That's so difficult to understand nowadays? I guess it is. I do believe it is actually that bad. I just don't understand, it doesn't make sense. This makes no sense, man. And they will tell, it's not politics, it's not ideology. You're not talking about games. When talking about games. So why should I listen to you? I guess there was this Asmongold clip going around. Oh, finally! The modern audience is here. Ah, that's not good. And some people will obviously believe, but you just want your politics on video games. Well, no. I do believe that politics in video games, just as... When I say politics in video games, I obviously mean pushing an agenda. They can have political themes, but don't compare that to, do you know that the orange man is illegal? So we also have this, right? Oh, liberal right wing! Not even right wing, so, Republican senator introduced a bill to define obscenity. May pose risk to video games and anime. Do you know that this is also bad? Did you know that I just despise censorship? I don't care to decide. Hot take. Censorship bad. Wow. What day is it today? A Republican senator has introduced a bill titled as 1671. A bill to define obscenity for purposes of the Communications Act of 1934, more like 1984, and for other purposes. The bill has been introduced by Senator Mike Lee. UT, is that Utah? I have no idea. Making the latest in right-wing attacks against media. A Republican bill in Texas which would have potentially made watching Goblin Slayer a felony has been installed in the state legislature earlier this year. We talked about this last week. Currently, media is giving a lot of leeway when it comes to explicit, grotesque, and otherwise potentially objectionable content. This leeway has allowed Americans to create and produce nearly whatever they want, with only a few exceptions. Currently, a law against obscenity exists in the form of the Communications Act of 1934. You should be able to show anything if it's fiction, especially in video games and animation. And if you want to add the correct age rating, that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. I do believe that you should. If you're gonna talk about and show extreme violence and rape, for example, yeah, that should probably be 18 plus. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what's happening here, I bet. While restrictions on obscenity are still in the books, some consider them to be unenforceable for First Amendment reasons. God, I love the First Amendment. I don't want to be American when I grow up. And currently, obscenity is defined by what's called the Miller test. The Miller test is a series of 3 qualifications which potentially remove First Amendment protections from potentially obscene speech. Whether the average person applying contemporary communication standards would find that the work, taken as a whole, appeals to the prurient interest, contemporary community standards. It was probably okay when it was written. Have you seen contemporaries nowadays? Oh my god, it's so annoying, they're so weak and pathetic. Oh, but I don't like this. So I don't think anybody should enjoy it. Thank you, March. Pretty cool. Well, the work depicts or describes, in a patently offensive way, sexual conduct or excretory functions is specifically defined by applicable state law. Why should this be illegal? Sure, I can agree that might have an age rating, maybe content tag. That's it. Whether the work, taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Who is to define artistic value? Not me, I guess. The nebulous nature of the test has given media a relatively free pass, but should the system laws become more readily enforceable, it could have a chilling effect on video games and anime. After all, didn't Jack Thompson and the other moral puritans of the late 20th century consider video games to lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value? But I thought all art was political. What a crossover. Currently, the full text of the bill is unavailable, but you can keep up to date with the status of the bill here. You know, the censorship bad. How is this a strange concept? I don't think it is. I don't think it should be, but we do be living in clown world. People do be enjoying their censorship a little bit too much. And once again, you don't have to like the content, and sure, I wouldn't like, what are the examples they give here? Extra functions. Sure. I don't want to say that. That doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. That only means that you should tell me if these things are in this work of fiction. Guess I don't want to say it. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to literally eat shit, you do you. Just don't show it to me. It's that easy. I guess that's kind of a slippery slope still, but look. I think opposing censorship makes sense, okay? Do not at me. People will say I only use sources that agree with me. Well, no, that isn't correct. I also clown on both sides, if they're acting like clowns, okay? But there's a clear intent, more often than not, on one side than the other, even though they're both in nature censorious, okay? We've seen that with the dubbed Goonergate months ago. Well, now that we're winning, we should ban this. Well, no. The thing is that we don't like censorship, so get fucked. And now we have a couple of, I guess, tech-related stuff, articles that I think might be interesting. So let's go to The Verge. Speaking of people that do not agree with me, Apple is placing warnings on EU apps that don't use App Store payments. That's disgusting. Apple suggests that users are putting themselves at risk by using third-party alternatives. At risk of not paying you. So slimy. I know I've mentioned this only in passing a couple of times, but if you're on YouTube and you like watching streams on YouTube and you do super chats and whatnot, never use the Apple apps because they take 30% of the money. And they don't have to, and they shouldn't. It's really interesting to see if somebody is using an Apple device and doing this way, because you will see the donations being something like $9.99 instead of $10, $49.99 instead of $50, $99.99 instead of $100. That's a telltale of Apple taking your money. So do not, because it's Apple and their ass. Apple's turned to this way. The Europeans are using iOS apps that support alternative payment options and making them look scary. They're Fireball's Chunk Rubber. Is this Die Hard? Spotted a red exclamation mark icon. It's been prominently displayed on the App Store listed for Instacar. Alongside the message warning users that it doesn't use Apple's private and secure payment system. Yeah, but you take 30%, so fuck you. Why do I have to pay you, bitch? Instacar, a 3-year-old Hungarian app for checking the mileage and value of used cars, isn't available on the US App Store, but in Hungary, in the EU, it's listed as one of the top 5 apps in the business category, with thousands of positive reviews. That's actually insane. They're a typical service that will run heightened caution. The only gripe that Apple seemingly has is Instacar uses an external payment system. An App Store payment features like purchase history, family sharing, and the unified subscription management won't be available on such purchases. Oh no! What am I gonna do? I don't even have an Apple product. But a lot of people do, and this says the warning message isn't actually new. Having been in place since Apple started complying with the EU's Digital Market Act in March 2024. It likely only just appeared on some people's radar because this rated by Apple's onerous implementation rules. Very few EU apps have actually implemented external payments, fewer than 100, according to Revenue Cat CEO Jacob Aiting. What is he aiding? An apple? Apple did propose changing the warning banner in August to replace the red exclamation logo with illustrating I and show a slightly different message. But the EU hasn't yet approved the updated design. My god. European bureaucracy! What the hell is this? When you're creating an account in the developer's external website, you may have to provide personal information, including payment information, directly to the developer or third-party partners. Apple says in a support page, linked from its warning message. You will be trusting the developer, as well as any partners and payment providers they work with, to handle your information based on their privacy and security controls. What's the difference with Apple? Why should I trust you over anybody else? As a part, you don't have to. Apple's currently facing heat in the EU for its practices around scare tactics. But my money though. In April, the European Commission issued preliminary findings that Apple makes it utterly burdensome and confusing for users to install alternative app marketplaces, a process that involves clicking through several scare sheets that asks users to confirm if they want to proceed. Not gonna lie, I think it's insane that they can actually do it. I mean, that you can actually install alternative app markets in an Apple device with the sheer amount of control they enjoy, I suppose. This App Store warning message is also blowing up in the wake of the recent Epic vs Apple ruling, bans Apple from restricting how developers can link to alternative purchase systems. But my money though, where's my 30%? I deserve money! I'm Apple, come on! A notable requirement implemented to address Apple's scare tactics was that the company cannot interfere with consumers choosing to leave an app with anything beyond a neutral message about being directed to third-party sites. That injunction doesn't apply outside of the US. That's casually saying it doesn't apply in the EU, because they have actual laws for data protection and all that. So that's really interesting. That's really unique and silly, dare I say. So there's that. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Fuck you, Apple. You're not getting my money. You don't deserve it. They can be so annoying. 30 fucking %. How greedy can they be? It's insanity. But everybody's greedy. I guess greed good. It works. Where's my parts? Said YouTube too. YouTube viewers will start seeing ads through big moments in videos. Unless you use alternative shields, I say. Imagine you're watching a hand-anticipated video from your favorite YouTube creator. Perhaps the moment of a famous couple finally gets engaged. Sure, I guess that's a good example. An ad pops up immediately after the clip. It's part of YouTube's new ad format called Peak Points. This is not big. This is just bleak. The company revealed the new ad format during its upfront presentation on Wednesday in New York. Peak Points leverages Google's Gemini AI to analyze YouTube videos, identify moments it believes have the highest viewer engagement, or most emotionally impactful, and then suggests placing the ad right after it. You don't really need AI for that. Because if you have enough views, that's public information. What's the part that most people are watching? Here? Ad. That easy. Point Peaks now? They changed the name. It's to benefit the advertisers by using a tactic that aims to grab users' attention right when they are most invested in the content. This approach appears to be similar to a strategy called emotion-based targeting, where advertisers place ads that align with the emotions evoked by the video. It's believed that when viewers experience heightened emotional states, leads to better recall of the ads. Oh god. Psychology 101. I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, where's my money? Man. They're just trying to swindle you. However, viewers may find the interruptions frustrating, especially when they are deeply engaged in the emotional arc of a video, and want the ad to be over quickly to resume watching. There are shields out there, okay? How brave are you? In related news, YouTube announced another ad format that may be more appealing to users. The platform debuted a shippable product feed where users can browse and purchase items during an ad. You cannot convince me to buy shit through YouTube ads. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. I hope it crashes and burns. And I guess, speaking of ads, I don't have a link for that, but it was on Twitter. Apparently, Twitch is working with some new ad formats, and I think those make sense. I don't necessarily agree or approve, but I guess those make sense. Because now, you will see a small ad on the side, and it is silent by default, which is way better. Still, it's going to fuck up the player, but shrug. At least you don't lose your how to say this? You don't miss anything, right? So that's actually fine. It's more fun than what we have. But my ads! Won't you see the ads? No. I will never buy shit from YouTube ads. You cannot convince me. Oh man, I do remember back in the day, this shit didn't happen. You didn't have ads literally everywhere. Young people would never know. It's so sad. So sad, man. It actually pisses me off, because that's actually a slippery slope. They keep pushing for worse and worse shit. There's nothing you can do, really. You can only cope. You can only... Oh, they don't? You can try to push back? But then you have young people, oh, it's not that bad. The fact that you know. I've been here For 20 years, I've seen how empires have risen and fell and fall. Falling, I suppose, would be the correct tense. I've seen the Golden Age, and I've seen disasters. Oh, it's not that bad. You wouldn't understand. You weren't there. Shut the fuck up. It's the same shit with video games. You know, video games nowadays are not that bad. Dude, just started playing video games. In 2020, they were already bad in 2020. Perhaps you started playing games in 2015 or 2014. They were getting worse by the day at that point already. So your opinion has no value to me. If you're not willing to go back and see the old games for what they were, and some people try to do that using modern standards, which is so stupid. Ah, but this game is so difficult. This game is so tedious. Yes, because this game is not shit. But thankfully, you still have people going back and saying, holy shit, these games back in the day, yeah, they were pretty good. I'm not blinded by this. This is my first time playing this old game for the SNES. And that guy talking about that on Twitter, playing A Link to the Past, good game for the first time. I think it was last year, maybe it was 2023. Good game. Good game. It's not nostalgia. Are you really gonna be nostalgic for anything that came out in the past 10 years? Probably not. Nobody will, aside from obvious kids that don't know anything. Oh, but Fortnite. Fortnite. Stop this. It's not even good. Just the jingling of keys in front of kids. By a poet, I don't think so. But speaking from back in the day, let's go for the final article for today. Do you guys like alchemy? I mean, it's pretty cool in video games, right? Brewing potions and whatnot. Transmutation! Ah, it's so cool. But science, nowadays, it's kind of discredited. Or is it? Scientists turn lead into gold for third time, but only for a split second. When I saw this, I was really hyped, because my first impression was, wow! You can make gold now? That's gonna be huge for technology, because gold is a fantastic conductor. Then I realized, oh, this is gonna be a disaster for the economy. They're going to destroy current money systems as we know them by completely collapsing gold. That's really scary. The Large Hadron Collider created 89,000 gold atoms per second. That's not too bad, I guess. In a breakthrough that would make medieval alchemists envious, scientists at Europe's Large Hadron Collider have successfully transformed lead into gold. I guess it's supposed to be lead because it's the noun. It's heavy boots of lead. The song says so. Producing 89,000 atoms per second. The Large Hadron Collider is a giant particle accelerator that smashes atoms together at super high speeds. Scientists there have found a way to knock the three tiny particles called protons out of lead atoms, turning them into gold atoms. Alchemists were right all along. Imagine. Where's my immortality? Where's my immortality? Well, I guess I might be immortal. I haven't died yet, I think. The team behind the discovery, called the Alice Collaboration, used a unique way to create gold. Instead of crashing lead atoms head-on, they look at what happens when the atoms just barely miss each other. Researchers explain that when this happens, powerful electromagnetic fields around the atoms cause them to change into different elements. Wow, what? That's actually really cool. Just with magnetism? That's pure insanity. It would be some sort of isotope, I suppose. It's impressive that our detectors can handle both major collisions that create thousands of particles and these small events, making just a few particles at a time. Michael Van Leeuwen, who leads the Alice project, setting a press release. How much gold did they make? During one period of experiments from 2015 to 2018, the scientists created around 86 billion gold atoms. That sounds like a lot, but when you add up all the gold, scientists said it only weighs about 29 picograms. That's 10 elevated to -6 grams, maybe? Maybe that's nano, I don't remember. It's way lower than that, actually. Which is less than a trillionth of a gram. You need trillions of times more to make even a tiny piece of jewelry. The machine can create about 89,000 gold atoms every second, but each atom only exists for a tiny fraction of a second before breaking apart. Recent upgrades to the machine have almost double the amount of gold it can make, but still far from practical use. Are these guys actual dwarves from mythology? That's insane. This could be really useful, once again for technology, but then again, economy. Ooh, that's really scary, man. That's actually really scary. According to Uliana Dimitrieva, a scientist for the Alice collaboration, this is the first time scientists have been able to detect and study gold production at the LHC in this way. Thanks to the unique capabilities of the Alice CDCs, the present analysis is the first to systematically detect and analyze the signature of gold production at the LHC experimentally. Dimitrieva said in the release, "The research isn't just about making gold." Are we sure? I mean, gold is really useful. So there's that. John Jowett, then scientist on the team, said that these experiments help them understand how particles behave, which is important for improving the LHC and building future particles colliders. Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know anything about the magnetic properties of racing each other, and that's actually quite insane. The results are also test and improve theoretical models of electromagnetic dissociation, which beyond their intrinsic physics interest, are used to understand and predict beam losses that are major limits on the performance of the LHC and future colliders, they have said in the release. People will call them Satanists. Yeah, I guess they're not bearing the Satanist allegations with this alchemy stuff after all. Did you know, because I guess a lot of people don't, the actual Satanic Cross is not the upside down cross? That's still Catholic. The Satanic Cross should be, and I say should, because a lot of people are extremely mistaken, the alchemical symbol for sulfur, which looks quite different. Oh man, the gold! The gold! I want to make gold at home too. I don't think it's gonna happen. I guess it could also potentially make diamonds with pressure. It's just carbon at the end of the day, right? So there's also that. So yeah, that's the thing for this week. So strange, I had to admit, so strange. They keep trying to crack down on anime and manga stuff, which to me is actually really annoying because it doesn't really make sense. You're not really going to lose sales if you're not actually selling the product, right? So, who knows really, who knows really. There's also the extremely political stuff with games, which they will tell you it doesn't happen, but even if they tell you it doesn't happen, it keeps happening all the time. It is not by my hand, okay? It is not by my hand. But people keep bringing politics into gaming. Yes, and I want them to stop. For them to stop, you have to talk about it and criticize them. Even if people are against it. Did you know that censorship bad? I know. Anyway. Plan for next week. We'll be playing some more MT4 on Monday. Might be the last stream of this streak. Been finding the new caves. I've been finding the tier 2 dungeons. I don't like them. I don't like them. They're really strong in there. And that's not the only problem. The main problem is they have a billion bosses before the big boss. But those big bosses respawn when you go out. So you had to one-shot it. I don't think I'm good enough, or I have a good enough deck for that, I'm afraid. So we can show those. I don't think I'm gonna be I don't think I'm gonna be finishing any. Satch. More Momong on Thursday. I need to do my grinding still, but it will be okay. I'm gonna look around for more TMs, because now I have Serve. I don't want to catch legendaries on my own. I might look at them, because there might be some interesting loot on the way. But no legendaries. And next time we should be able to defeat Wainana. And then we have Wednesday, and I haven't done anything yet, but I would like to set up a randomizer for that. I don't know which one yet. I was thinking maybe a DS Castlevania one, because I don't think I've ever tried them. That could be really cool. Or let's start tinkering with Archipelago and try to set up Oracle of Ages or something like that. Oracle of Ages might be long. I don't think I can do that in a single stream. 4 hours? I don't think I'm good enough. It's gonna be a little bit challenging, but I need to look up how to set them and whatnot. But could be cool. I think it could be pretty cool. They also have shit like Terraria and whatnot, which I don't know, man. Sure. They also have all the school RuneScape, okay? Now that's quite unique. And of course, next Saturday, we'll keep looking at more news and see what the fuck is happening. That's pretty much the plan. So yeah, it's time for me to get the hell out of here. So thank you for coming. Hope you had some fun. Some bunch of divisive news today, I suppose. And I'll see you all on Monday with more NT Forge. Until then, you know the rules. Take care. And always push against censorship.